Hello, everyone. This is Kimberly Del Torre. I'm going to take you through my experience with Module 4 in the Accessibility Online. I'm going to start with the Word document section only because I have a Google Doc, so it's not exactly the same as Word, but pretty similar. I was kind of playing with it to figure out how accessible it was, and as I was analyzing, I realized that there's a lot that I could fix with this document to make it more accessible. So I do have the top heading for the document, which is where they would explore STEM careers. And then each section is kind of numbered, so they have different steps that they had to do to complete it. There were no images in this, but then I gave a rubric down at the bottom. So let me just kind of walk through this. There were different lists that I put in here, bulleted in different formats. And the only issue or issues I see here are that the links are not in any way meaningful links to describe the destination for them, but when you hover over them, they kind of pop up, so I guess that's kind of nice. And then the directions, each of them, 1, 2, 3, and so on, they're in red. So in the Online Accessibility Handbook, it mentioned to not have the text alone in just a single color in case of any kind of color blindness. So this could probably be better if it had another highlighted color behind it. Same with like the bright green. So those are things that could be fixed in this document. The table is set pretty much like a rubric. I would just score points to see if they had the things that I asked for. The second column is just blank, so if it were to read it, I don't know how beneficial that would be to have a blank box for them. What I also wanted to point out was something that our school district uses a lot to help students that have special needs or need something a little more accessible is the extension for read write. And I think it's pulling down here, yeah. So if I just were to hit play, it were to, there we go, it would to read the document through, but when I played this earlier and it got to the hyperlinks, it just started saying like HTTPS, stuff like that. So obviously that would be more beneficial if the links were actually more descriptive in where they were going. Then for my second document, I had my PowerPoint. This is completely separate. This is a PowerPoint on mixtures and solutions, which is a different unit that we do. Before I go into this one, this is something that was already pre-made in the curriculum that was given to me, and as I was looking through it, I realized how poorly it was made, in a sense that when I go to view it in the outline view, there's a lot of things missing, and I even tried to like fix it up a little, but there's, for example, in slide 4 where there's a picture, and even in slide 5. So when this was made, the templates that come with PowerPoint were not used. So even like for the first slide, I tried to change it up because this one was blank too, and the colors were kind of all over the place. The heading was in like all these different colors. So even trying to change it up, this is something that I think I would completely just remake and make more accessible for more students. In this picture, I did go through and try to format it. So when I went to the edit alt text, I gave it more of a description so that it could read that it was a bowl of salad with carrots, broccoli, tomatoes, cheese, etc. So if I wanted to present this in a couple months, when we do get to this unit, I would have to go through each of my pictures, and make sure that they are more accessible. And it does give the generate alt text for me, but it doesn't always give a decent description. I mean, this one, a hamburger with lettuce, tomato. Most people know what that looks like or even feels like, so they can kind of visualize it. But this one for the outline, again, is just text and it doesn't show up in the outline. The next pictures that are blank, hold on, like slides 9 and 10, again, it's just words and they're not showing up because they weren't used with a template. And then for slide 10, there's more links that could have their descriptive destinations, but are not included in here. And because it's a PowerPoint, you have to control click instead of hovering over, where you can see kind of a preview of what that destination is. So just a little difference between what the Google Suite does and what Microsoft uses. In the rice chapter, it mentions how we could make our materials better for the vision impaired, hearing impaired, and the mobile impaired. So there's a lot that I could change up for the vision impaired if they were to be listening to this. Obviously, turning on any kind of audio description would help. And then for the hearing impaired, just making sure everything that they can read is still visually appealing for them. As I click through, it mentioned that if you hit the tab button, trying to see if I did it this way. There we go. If I hit the tab button, that the pictures move in kind of order to make sure that it's reading it all properly. And then I just kind of went through and made sure that if I clicked on the first one, that everything was kind of going in order. As for the links, I think you would have to use a mouse for this one, only because it is that control click. I couldn't figure out another way to find the video with only just the keyboard. And I think that was it. So obviously, the two materials that I provided could use a lot of work. They're not too accessible friendly, but by the time that they do get to this unit, this will all be changed, because this is just a big mess of kind of everything thrown onto a bunch of random slides. Thank you for listening.